Hi, welcome to this session on CAT 2020 LRDI solutions. This is a set which is from CAT 2020 slot 2. This is a 6 question set. So if you invest some time in it, this is a set where you can score 6 questions in a reasonable amount of time. It's not a difficult set, but it requires a little bit of patience. This question involves percentages, calculating ratios, some amount of equations also. A very nice set. It is very similar, not identical, very similar to the set which came up in CAT 2004, which was on the runs scored and the R index of the batsmen, etc. I have linked that set in the description of this video also. You can check it up when you go through this. I would suggest before you start solving this set, in case you have not tried this on your own, please pause this video, have a look at the PDF. The link is available in the description of this video. Once you have tried this, then proceed with the rest of this session. Before I start, in case you have not done it already, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please do hit the like button in case you like this particular video. Please do comment and let us know how you liked these solutions and the ones which follow. Also share this with your friends who are preparing for CAT and other MBA entrance examinations. You can also follow us on various other social media channels like LinkedIn, Telegram, WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram. All the relevant links are available in the description of these videos. In case you're preparing for the CAT 2021 examination, do have a look at our Ultimate LRDI course. This is the most comprehensive course for CAT LRDI available in the market. We have more than 500 LRDI sets with detailed and well-explained video solutions. We also provide you with one-on-one mentoring. You get a chance to review your CAT preparation throughout your CAT journey, and in case you get stuck, you get a chance to speak with me individually and get your doubts resolved. We have prompt doubt clearing, discussion forums, WhatsApp and Telegram groups. Everything is available all in one roof. Do have a look at that course. The link is available in the description of this video. Let's get started. The set says in an election, several candidates contested for a constituency. In any constituency, the winning candidate was the one who polled the highest number of votes. Okay, standard election process. The first runner-up was the one who polled the second highest. Second runner-up was the one who polled the third highest, and so on. Right? Okay. There are no ties. Okay, in terms of votes polled by the candidate in any constituency in this election. Okay, pretty straightforward as of now. Okay. What else do we have? In an electoral system, a security deposit is the sum of money that a candidate is required to pay to the election commission before he or she is permitted to contest. Okay, so there is a security deposit. Only the defeated candidates, that is one who is not the winning candidate, who failed to secure more than 1/6 of the valid votes polled in the constituency, lose their security deposits. Okay. The following table provides some incomplete information about the votes polled in the 4 constituencies A, B, C and D. So what we know is that in constituency A, there are 10 candidates. Total valid votes is 500,000 or 5 lakhs. Winning candidate is 2,75,000. First runner-up is 95,000. Second runner-up is not known. Percentage of the votes polled by the third runner-up. Okay, this is the percentage of valid votes. So a percentage out of 5 lakh. That is missing. So this is missing. So similarly in constituency B, there are 12 candidates. Number of valid votes is 3,25,000. First one is 48,750. Others are missing. Third constituency, there are 5 candidates. 6,30,000 is the total. Everything is missing. And in D, there are 8 candidates. The total votes is missing. Votes by the winning candidate is missing. We have the second and the third place ones and the percentage of the votes of the fourth placed contestant. Okay, and then you have information about how to go about solving this. Now, if you look at the questions, okay, the first one says what is the percentage of votes polled in total by all the candidates who lost their security deposits while contesting in constituency A. Okay, so this is about constituency A, right? It will fill up this table. Second one is how many candidates who contested in constituency B lost their security deposit. That is for B. the third one is for C, and the fourth one is for D, and the fifth and sixth are for all the constituencies. So we can do it in sequence. We complete A, answer the question, then complete B, answer that question, complete C, answer that question, complete D, answer the question, and then the other two questions which follow. So we can do it in sequence, right? So that is a good part about this. So even if you run out of time, at least you will be able to solve part of it. So this is a nice question to do even if you're doing it at the end of the examination as such. Now, all of them, at least the first two or three, speak about the security deposit part. So what is a security deposit? You lose a security deposit if you do not get more than 1/6, right? If you don't get more than 1/6, even 1/6 is not going to be enough. You need to get more than 1/6 of the amount. So let's calculate the 1/6 part. So we'll fire up the calculator for this and calculate this. So in constituency A, we have 5 lakh votes, right? 1/6 of this will be this divided by 6. So 83,333.33 is 1/6. Now 83,334 will be more than 1/6, right? So that will be the part. So in order to get to save your security deposit, you need to get 83,334 or more. 83,334 is also good enough. Okay, let's look at the second one. It is 3,25,000. 1/6 of this will be 54,166. So 54,167 should be good enough to save your security deposit. And in the third one, it is 6 lakh and 30. 1/6 of this is 1 lakh and 5. Now 1 lakh and 5 is exactly 1/6. That will not be enough to save your security deposit. So you need to get 1 lakh and 6, not 1 lakh and 5. It should be 1 lakh and 6. So we'll use this and then fill out the rest of this. As I said, we will fill this up in parts. So we'll write this down a little neatly as we proceed to the individual questions. So I have filled up the values which we discussed earlier. Also, I have written this, shifted this portion a little below, right? Now these we don't need to calculate. This is just for explaining. It makes it easier. In an exam situation, you don't need to write it. You can work out with the information which is given. Since we are drawing a table as such, we'll use a little bit of space and write it down a little neatly, right? So we have first, second, third, fourth, and others. Percentage wise, first, second, third, fourth, and others. Okay, so let's look at it. Question 1 says, what is the percentage of votes polled in total by all the candidates who lost their security deposit while contesting in constituency A? Now, the information says the first runner-up polled 10,000 more than the second runner-up. We know the first runner-up's votes. So the second runner-up's votes will be this minus 10,000. That will be 85,000. Right. The cutoff is 83,334. So we know these two candidates, even though they lost, they saved their security deposits. Right. Okay. Now what about the other? Now theoretically speaking, he has to get only one vote lesser than this. But if you look at it, there might not be enough votes left. Let's look at what is the votes left. 85 plus 95 is 190. 190 plus 180. 180 plus 275 is 4,55,000. Right. So out of 5 lakhs, 4,55,000 votes are already gone. Right. Which means the balance is only 45,000 votes. Right. So between the third runner-up and the others, all the others, they are going to get only 45,000 votes. Now, individually, nobody is going to get 83,334, right? Because there are not enough votes left, which means all these people lost their security deposits. Only these 3 people saved their security deposits. Now, the question is, what is the percentage of votes polled by the total of all the candidates who lost their security deposits? 45,000. 45,000 out of 5 lakh. 45,000 out of 5 lakh will be 9%. Pretty straightforward. That part is done. Let's go to the next question. I've written this down. Okay. Second one says, how many candidates who contested in constituency B lost their security deposit? Now, the security deposit mark is 54,167. Even the winning candidate could not reach that one. Even the winning candidate could not reach 54,167. But only the defeated candidates lost their security deposit. Right? So all these candidates got more less. Everyone in constituency B got less than 1/6. But because he's a winner, he will not lose his security deposit. It's the remaining 11 people who are going to lose the security deposit. You just need to be very careful with this. It's a pretty easy question. You don't need to calculate a lot. But don't mark 12 as the answer. The winning candidate does not lose his security deposit. It's only the defeated candidates, which means the remaining 11 are going to lose their security deposits. The third question asks, what best can be concluded about the number of votes polled by the winning candidate in constituency C? Now we have a range which is given to us. 1,40,010, between 1,40,005 and 1,40,010, less than 2,10,000 and 1,40,006. Okay, so let's clear this out and see where we go. Okay, so we know from the data which is given to us that none of the candidates who contested in constituency C lost their security deposit. That is given to us. And the difference in vote polled between any pair of candidates in this constituency was at least 10,000. Right. So let's see what can be the closest packing which is possible. Right. Now to save your security deposit, you need to get 1,06,000 votes. This is for the 5th place candidate. There are 5 candidates. So 4th, 3rd, 2nd and 1. So the 4th candidate will get this plus 10,000 at least. Similarly, the 3rd candidate will get this much, 2nd candidate will get this much, and the 1st candidate will get this much. Now, if you observe carefully, 1,20,006, right? This is the midpoint of the arithmetic progression. This is almost like an arithmetic progression, right? This is the closest packing possible, assuming that these are the minimum votes. This is the minimum for the 5th place guy, minimum for the 4th place guy, minimum for the 3rd place guy, minimum for the 2nd place guy, minimum for the 1st place guy, right? This is the middle value. This is an arithmetic progression, right? So sum of the arithmetic progression will be this into 5, which is the total number of votes, which means I cannot shift this anymore. If I increase this by 1, everything will increase by 1 each, which means, and it will take out the total votes to be higher than this, right? Which means 1,06,000 is the exact value for the 5th placed candidate. 1,10,006 is the exact value for the 4th place candidate. 1,20,006 for the 3rd, 1,30,006 for the 2nd, and 1,40,006 for the 1st candidate, which means I know exactly that option 4 is my correct choice. It's a brilliant question. It can trip you up if you don't pay attention, but this is a very tricky question. In an exam situation, you can very easily mark option 2, right, which will be the wrong answer. Here we can find the exact number of votes for each of these 5 candidates. Now, the 4th question basically says, what is the number of valid votes polled in constituency D? What is the valid votes polled in constituency D? Now, what is the information that we have about constituency D? The winning candidate in the constituency polled 5% of the valid votes, more than the first runner-up, right? And all the candidates who lost their security deposit while contesting in the constituency polled together 35% of the valid votes, right? Okay, so we know that the 3rd runner-up, which means this person, lost his security deposit. He got only 10% of the votes, right? So he lost his security deposit, which means the others will also lose their security deposit. So we know we know that this is the winner, right? So we can have between the winner and the second runner up, they can have 65% of the votes because the remaining is 35%. Or between the first three people, they can have 65% of the valid votes. So there are two scenarios possible. This 30,000 may be included in this 35%, or this 30,000 may be included in this 65%. Right? One of these two scenarios is going to be possible. Right? We also know that if the second placed guy got X% votes, then the first placed person got X plus 5% of the votes. Right? So we can straight away check X and X plus 5. If this is 65%, then X will be 30%. And X plus 5 should be 35% of the votes. Right? Okay, so this will be a starting point to do it. Now let's fire up the calculator and check what is coming out. So we know the first place person is X plus 5. The second place person is X. Now let's look at the ratio between the second and the third place. Second place person has got 37,500. The third place person has got 30,000, which means the ratio is this divided by this, which is 0.8. So the third place person got 0.8x. So as we discussed, there are two scenarios possible. Either X plus 5 is 65%, right? X is 30, X plus 5 is 35. So 0.8x will be 0.8 into 30, which is 24%. Now with 24%, you are not going to lose the security deposit, right? With 24%, you're not going to lose the security deposit. But our premise of taking X and X plus 5 as 65% means that this 30,000 person comes in this set of people who lose their security deposit. Right? But we know that person who polled 24% of the full votes cannot lose his security deposit. Right? Which means our premise is wrong. That it is not just these two people who were in the 65%. It is the top three people who are in the 65%. Right? So now we know that the top three are in 65%, which means the remaining are all in 35%. And now we can calculate the total based on them. So let's clear this out. Right? So between these three, they are going to get 65% of the vote, which means X plus 5 plus 0.8x will add up to 65. Or in other words, 2.8x will add up to 65 minus 5, which is 60. Or x will be equal to 60 divided by 2.8, which is 21.42. And you can verify 0.8x would be equal to this into 0.8, which is 17.14. We know 1/6 is 16.6666%. So this is good enough. Our assumption is right. Okay. How do I use this? Our aim is to calculate the total number of votes in the constituency. Right. So I know that, let me clear this out. Okay. We know X and okay. So we know 0.8x is 17.142857%. And 17.142857% equates of the total votes. 17.142857% of the total votes equates to 30,000 votes. So what will be the total number of votes? 30,000 divided by 17.52 into 100. 1,75,000, which is option 3, will be your total number of votes. Now we can also calculate the number of votes which were received by the top placed guy. The number of votes which are received by the top placed guy. Top placed guy, which is x plus 5, would be equal to 21 plus 5, which is 26. And this person will be this into this divided by 100. So 46,250 is the number of votes received by the first place person. We can also calculate 35% of the full votes. 35% is this into 0.35. That will be 61,250 will be the number of votes received by the third and the other placed candidates. But for this question, option 3 is your correct choice. I calculated the additional values for the remaining two questions. Question number 5, it says the winning margin of a constituency is defined as the difference of votes polled by the winner and that of the first runner-up. Which of the following cannot be the list of constituencies in the increasing order of the winning margin? Okay, so now we know for A, the winning margin will be 2,75,000 minus 95. So 275 minus 95, which is 1,80,000, right? This is for A. B, we don't know as of now. C and D. For C, we know the difference is 10,000, and for D, it is 46,250 minus 37,500, which will be somewhere around 8.75 or something like that. 8.75, right? Okay, so we know in terms of order, D will be lesser than C and then A. B will come somewhere here. B will come somewhere in between. So D, then followed by C, then followed by A. So this order is fixed. B can come either less than this or this and this or less than this. We can check if it is more than this. It is not going to be possible because there is not enough votes, right? So B can come anywhere here, right? So any case where this is not followed should be eliminated. So here, option 3 is the incorrect choice because C cannot be lesser than D. This is the increasing order. So C cannot be lesser than D. C always has to be more than D. Like here, and here, right? B can come any place less than D or between C and D or between A and C. So all those cases are possible, but you cannot have a scenario where C is less than D because we know the exact vote shares in these three constituencies. So this is pretty straightforward once we solve the fourth question. And the last question says, for all the four constituencies taken together, what was the approximate number of votes polled by all the candidates who lost their security deposit expressed as a percentage of the total valid votes from these four constituencies? So your denominator is this total, and your numerator will be all those who lost their security deposit. Now in C, nobody lost their security deposit. In D, these people lost their security deposit. In A, these people lost their security deposit. And in B, 325 minus 48750, these people lost their security deposit. So this is basically a calculation question. So let's add this up. So the denominator would be 500 plus 325 plus 600.030 plus 175. This will be your denominator. What will be your numerator? Your numerator will be 45 in the first one. Second one will be 325 minus 48.75. And in the third one, it will be 61.25. So your numerator will be sum of all this, right? As a percentage, it will be this divided by this. So 23.9, option 3 is your correct choice. This is a brilliant set. The thing is, it slowly increases in difficulty level, especially question number 3 is really tricky. You can easily mess this up if you're not careful. And question number 4 requires a lot of patience. So 3 and 4 are the turning point of this. The first 2 questions are pretty straightforward. The last 2 questions, once you get over the hump of 3 and 4, are also pretty easy to do. So it's in the middle where it really tests your patience and your diligence. As I said at the beginning of this, it is not difficult in terms of concept, etc. But you need to be very patient. You need to be extremely careful. The good part about this set is that you can solve it in parts. You don't need to solve the entire part to be able to solve the at least couple of questions. First 2 questions can be solved even without doing the rest of the questions. And similarly, question number 3 can also be partially solved if you are a little careful. Question number 4 takes a little bit of patience. If you are careful over here, then you get the rewards of the remaining 2 questions as well. In an exam situation, this is going to take you upwards of 12 minutes. Again, because these can be solved in sequence, you might want to attempt it as the very last set or the second last set in that particular slot. That finishes this session on CAT 2020 LRDI solution. Do let us know how you found these particular set of solutions. In case you want to look at more such solutions, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also follow us on various social media groups. The links are available in the description of this video. Till we meet again the next time, goodbye and all the best.